Yeah, totally. That's right. Well... Um... 'Cause, I mean...
I'm getting tired of waiting. What say we just get started, It's time for the long-awaited class trial! Now then, allow me to appoint a proper location for the proceedings. Please go through the red door on the first floor of the school.
Listen to me!
Is everyone here? Okay then. Please board the elevator in front of you, which will transport you to the courtroom. Where all your fates will be decided. I'll meet you all down there. I'll be waiting.
You know what I mean.
Got it!
What the heck?
Well then.
Yes, indeed. Hey, Makoto.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But wrong one! Then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
Of course!
Okay then. Everyone, close your eyes. And whoever did it, raise your hand.
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Before we move on and start the trial, can I ask a question real quick? What's going on with those pictures?
I'd feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier. Friendship penetrates?
Okay, but what about that other empty seat? There were only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit up to 16 people. Okay. That about first up is the case summary.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already. And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in
In the bathroom. So it seems the killer must have taken her by surprise. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that. Part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was... Murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
No, that's wrong! Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room looked. With the way things had been damaged, I think we can definitely assume there was a struggle.
A struggle? Between who and who?
Between Sayaka and the killer, of course.
So you're saying Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom?
She must have been attacked in the main room first. Then, she ran to the bathroom to try and hide. The killer followed her in, and that's where they finished the job.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's next?
Next is the subject of the murder weapon.
Wow, this is starting to sound like a real trial.
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of sharp object thrust into her.
So the killer used some random knife they had on him. How could anyone do something like that? That son of a bitch!
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of without a doubt.
So the killer
Used some How could anyone do something like that? That son of a bitch!
So what was used?
There was some kind of
Without a doubt, that is the murder weapon!
So the killer used some random knife they had.
No, that's wrong! No. I do think it was a knife, but not just any knife. I'm almost positive it was a kitchen knife.
Huh? A kitchen knife?
After the murder, we discovered that one of the knives from the kitchen was missing.
Which means that knife must be the murder weapon.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. And if you look real close, I could totally see that being a kitchen knife.
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, but where does that get us? I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
That's right. Makoto's room was the scene of the crime. What more proof did he need?
Hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we've presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
I don't think that's true at all. I'm sure if we keep at it, something new will reveal itself.
You really believe that?
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was the murder weapon. But where does that get us?
Makoto must have taken it from the kitchen, right? He did it in secret. Nobody was in the...
No, that's wrong! Okay, wait. Hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Next, you're gonna say you're not the killer, right?
Well, what if I have a witness? What do you think, Hina?
Huh?
Remember what you were telling me earlier? Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining hall, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me come into the dining hall?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, he definitely wasn't there.
The knife disappeared while Hina was in the dining hall. But I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay, then what about this? What if the idiot swimmer girl and Makoto are in on it together, and lying to protect each other?
Idiot swimmer girl? Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
But what if they did work together, and they just didn't know about the rule?
Ugh, good grief! Enough already! No, okay? There are no accomplices in this case! Oops! Did I say that out loud?
Anyway, I didn't go to the diner, so I'm not the killer.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife?
Hina seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall.
No way! I swear it wasn't me!
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that? I can.
That's right. Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
Me.
Right.
Scared thanks to those creepy videos. I wasn't really thinking, I just asked her to stay over. Which means we have airtight alibis.
You stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations?
We're not allowed to sleep anywhere but the dorms, but it doesn't say we have to stay in our assigned room, so I don't think that's a problem.
It is a problem! A boy and a girl spending the night together? It's unwholesome!
Actually, there is one other possibility. Right, Hina?
Oh, yeah, that's true! One other person did come to the dining hall while we were there.
Why so in the first place?
Well, because they're not here anymore. Sayaka. She's the one who came to the dining hall. And...
I got it! Then, Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
That's the only possibility. And thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual. When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen. As she left, she said she just wanted a drink of water. But most likely...
the person who took the knife was the victim herself!
I'm sure she just took it for self-defense.
So you're saying the knife she took was, in that case, you may not have taken the knife, but you still could have killed her.
What?
See? He did do it after all!
No, you're wrong!
So, that's how you would twist the argument.
Hold on. It's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say? Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering. And until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
Something was missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights should have been there. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Now I understand! That's right! There wasn't a single hair on the floor!
So,
Yes, and why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene.
the reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Yes, very true, very true!
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then Makoto isn't the culprit?
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer there was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
I got it! Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the...
The door?
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the...
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
You still don't see? Okay then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand. The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room. She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door. Because Sayaka had locked it.
And finally, the culprit had Sayaka cornered.
And to finish the job, they stabbed her with the kitchen knife.
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? Admit it! We already know the answer.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
Shoot!
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in them. She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her, and they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door, because Sayaka had locked it.
And finally, the culprit had... Sayaka cornered.
And to finish the job, they stabbed her with the kitchen knife.
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? We already know the answer.
The incident took place in Sayaka was first. She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her, and they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door, because Sayaka had locked it.
No, it's wrong! The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with locking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your
Because it was stuck. Huh? What do you... My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door, that's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
Shoot! I got it! The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable!
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms. Which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is
definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening. right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who...
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
Okay, then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up! Quit without saving!
But what happens if...
Well, why don't we just vote right now?
Majority rules? Do you really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh! As a matter of fact...
Oh, you...
You don't gotta sound so disappointed!
It's fine, it's fine.
Oh yeah! Okay, so... Well... I was just wondering... How did the culprit get...
Yes.
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere.
I don't think so.
Then... Maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma...
Fine. How about this? They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Ms.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh! Trying to Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
I got it! Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place. Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh? Well, what the hell is that supposed to...
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this. I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that appear.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap!
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means only someone...
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka.
So, Makoto.
No,
Of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
But what?
The note was likely her way of getting... She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me!
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Pay attention. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place they were asked to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in. So in other words, even if someone did read the note, and they would not have any connection.
It certainly would seem that way.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms in the note. The place they were, it specifically says, my.
I see. So if someone, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
No, that's wrong! The nameplates on my...
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like as a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room...
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in...
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was...
Right? Okay, then who did it?
I got it! Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms, so the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was...
You can also infer as much from her note. She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over. We figured it out! We know who did it!
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then...
That reminds me. There was a...
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's...
I got it! All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something...
Is that gold?
It sure is. Specifically, you barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword!
I see.
Alright, then it's about...
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack! Shoot! When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist!
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
When the fighting for the culprit,
And that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
and that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist!
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit, and that's when the first sword-based...
And that's what broke...
So, she grabbed the kitchen knife she had.
But then the culprit took that.
And they killed her.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting broke out, the culprit, and that's when the first...
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit, and that's when the first sword-based sneak attack!
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist!
So she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed, and that's when the first sword-based sneak attack.
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed, and that's when the first sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So she grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
Shoot! I refuse to give up yet!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed, and that's when the first blow was dealt. Sword-based sneak attack.
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit, and that's when the first sword-based sneak... attack.
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So she tried to fight. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting the culprit, and that's when the first sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So she grabbed but then the culprit
And they killed. And that's exactly what happened.
When the fighting broke out,
The culprit, and that's when the first blow.
a sword-based sneak attack. When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
That's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So she grabbed but then the culprit
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed, and that's when the first sword-based sneak attack.
That's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So she tried to fight. Back! She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away. Shoot!
I refuse to give up yet.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So she grabbed but then the culprit
And they killed her.
And that's exactly what happened.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit, and that's when the first blow. A sword-based sneak attack.
No, it's wrong.
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it.
something sharp.
Stop jumping ahead! Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword...
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how...
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any...
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen...
I think I get it! The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere, then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka, so she grabbed the sword to defend herself. Then, after they broke her...
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka...
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain...
Shoot!
I got it! You're talking about her palm. The palms of her hands were perfectly clean.
How can you know?
Like I said before. In fact, if you look, you'll notice it's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
No, that's not it at all. I got it! According to the Monokuma file, in other words, at nighttime.
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, You're no different! You smell like a big, fat, ugly donkey!
I'm not sure whether to take that.
Oh, anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. And the one who damaged the sheet with the kitchen knife was...
I got it! Sayaka?
But we already said that.
The person with the knife attacked first.
Then the one who attacked...
Sayaka?
Now do you understand?
No, far from it. It's almost as if she took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? Maybe the reason she wanted was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also explain why she wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto, and by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out, while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a...
Wait, then...
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken.
The tables were suddenly turned on her.
Just hold on! Because... Hey! You guys, you're being super boring, right? Wouldn't it be awful if I...
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer. If we can't uncover who murdered
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
No, that's wrong! There still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message.
Dining, wait.
The dying message. 11037. Written in her own blood.
Well, before we get to, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
I got it! Her left index finger had blood on it. That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure. I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still, what the heck do those numbers mean?
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not numbers.
Oh! Yeah, it looks like...
Huh? What?
No, it's just... Oh, don't these first two, 1-1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Ah, you're right. Looking at it now, you could also read it.
Whoa.
But even if that really is an N, N0.
Rotate the image.
Oh my god.
Huh? So, who...
Here's my answer! The key to solving this mystery, if you turn the message around, it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N. Or more accurately, Leon.
What the hell are you talking about? It's just a coincidence. Random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's... She wrote that message on the wall behind. In that position, she couldn't move to write normally. And as a result, when you look at it standing in front of her, it ends up getting flipped. Try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and...
That sounds like one hell... I'm the killer? You can't just...
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? You mean the burnt shirt? As the killer stabbed Sayaka, and to dispose of the shirt covered in like one piece broke, and the killer didn't notice. Isn't that right, Leon?
But is one scrap of fabric and...
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button.
That's right! With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you can say for sure who it belongs to.
You're right. That alone isn't enough.
Are you finally starting to understand?
Yeah. Shoot! I got it! If you look closely at how the shirt was disposed of, we should be able to figure out who the killer is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. You can't reach the incinerator without opening, and obviously, you need the key to... So the killer had to be whoever was in... Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it.
So the only one who could get to the person in charge of the...
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator, which means the only possible suspect...
Okay, so...
Huh? No! Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right? Shoot! The key to the... Whoever was on cleaning...
So the only one... The person in charge of the trash?
Shoot! The key to the... Whoever was on cleaning...
So the only one... The person...
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator. No, that's wrong.
Hold on. I think I know how someone could dispose of the evidence without using the trash room key.
But if you can't get past the gate, you couldn't possibly turn on the incinerator.
Yes, you could.
What is it, some kind of glass ball? It's busted to hell.
Actually, it was supposed to be a crystal ball, but,
But how would you use it?
Shoot! I got it! Killers, all they had to do was hit that button. Remember what you said before? Hifumi had the key.
The broken glass. If the killer had been on cleaning duty.
Wait, no, just hold on.
But the distance from the gate to the incinerator pinpoint accuracy could somewhat...
That's right. There's difficult, absolute. I got it! Because the killer is the ultimate...
Do you have any idea how stupid you sound right now?
A target 30 feet away would surely be little challenge for...
I'm not the killer! These goddamn shipper brains have got it all wrong, I'm telling you!
You still won't admit it? Okay then. Makoto, go ahead and review the incident one more time to make his... And with that...
Listen to me! Say what you want, Lee. Now here's what...